first creation and fall of man, education of Mary and Liz and Zoan, the unity of life, Elihu's lesson, death is a ministry. In Manetho's lesson, after the feast we build with carpenter's tools on the life of Yahshua in the Muslim schools until the mass explain the meaning of truth. Yahshua reveals sinful ways when they stray from rules. At the feast in Bahar taught equality, and that between Allah and man is unity. Like Yahshua and Barada, we read scrolls sacred, using eternal happiness to clothe the naked. In Egypt, among Gentiles, tremendous works. Defeat the three temptations to examine your worth. Washing your hands, can't clean karmic dirt. Lying disciples didn't steal the body and split. When I left to appear fully materialized before Apollo and the silent brotherhood's eyes. Even in India, I appeared to Eastern sages. Came back to the Americas to save the nations. Living in sin, where should I begin? No brethren. Justice does leave off from the monks Tibetan. As Aquarian Gospels, I learned those lessons with a moorish spirit spilling as the circle 7. Holy instructions and warnings to all young men. Marriage instructions, even duties of a husband. Holy instructions for children toward their mom and father's obedience. Holy covenant of nations Asiatic. Holy unity of rich and poor is in the attic. Master servant duty shall become a pleasure. Social duties by the prophet, Allah's treasure. Justice, charity, gratitude, sincere religion. Know thyself, inhale the breath of heaven. Speak the soul of man, reach the wisdom pinnacle. The instability of man is no miracle. In constant weakness, cause knowledge is insufficient. Lower self has the higher self in submission. Inconstancy and weakness, it cause misery. Origin of Asiatic, start of Christianity. After we left the capital and fulfill prophecy. Fallen sons of daughters, no hate, start loving me, your prophet. Without a rocket, meet you on the soul plane. Higher than Siphon, 7 lines of cocaine. You won't have to do that to hear me speak. Open your heart to the Most High, bump into a sheep. Fez might be red, black, or blue. He might teach you about Bohemian Grove or Olokun. When I left to appear fully materialized before Apollo and the silent brotherhood's eyes. Even in India, I appeared to Eastern sages. Came back to the Americas to save the nations. Living in sin, where should I begin? No brethren. Justice does leave off from the monks Tibetan. As Aquarian Gospels, I learned those lessons with a moorish spirit spilling as the circle 7. When I left to appear fully materialized before Apollo and the silent brotherhood's eyes. Even in India, I appeared to Eastern sages. Came back to the Americas to save the nations. Living in sin, where should I begin? No brethren. Justice does leave off from the monks Tibetan. As Aquarian Gospels, I learned those lessons with a moorish spirit spilling.
Peace, Morris. We're here. Little continuation, because I'm still not getting something. Something's not registering yet. Something's not registering yet. I still don't get what's going on. But one of the Moors said it yesterday. Noble Drew Ali saved my life. So he's not just some nigger leader to me. You know, like when we first came into this information, and the first time I saw a picture of Noble Drew Ali, it threw me off. Because clearly he was a brother, but he wasn't dressing like the conscious community. He wasn't dressing like the different people saying they're a nation. He wasn't dressing like the average individual. He wasn't dressing like anybody in our community. He was dressing totally different. And then to top it off, he has he has this headwear on. that I've always only affiliated with Masons. Like, there's nobody else that wears that other than Masons. I never even went to check to see. Does anybody else wear this except Masons? Didn't even check, didn't even think to check. But here comes this brother by the name of Noble Drew Ali with a fez on, looking totally different than everybody else in our community. Like, who is this guy? Who is he? Look him up, and he's somebody. I mean, he knew people. He wasn't just some nobody. He wasn't just some guy that only these people over here know. He wasn't somebody that you just heard about him. People knew him. People knew him. Right? And because people knew him, it was kind of hard to hide, kind of. It was kind of hard to hide. So, this individual, Noble Drew Ali, I never heard about. And nobody ever told. Nobody told? No one told. Everyone was just good with it, not knowing who he was. So fast forward to this time, and this man who I hold dear to me, forget prophet and all that stuff. This man who, he said certain things and I went and checked what he said. And he was right. He wasn't wrong in anything that he said. Everything that he said was right. Especially when we look at the time that he said it. Right? It doesn't only apply now, it also applied back then, what he was saying. It not only applies in 2021, it also applied in 1913. It also applied then. And for me to be somebody who took what Noble Drew Ali presented to me, right? I'm not talking for anybody else. He presented to me, I checked it out, the stuff is legit. Why wouldn't I back him 100%? Like, why would I back somebody else before him? Why would I make up my own stuff instead of doing what it is that he said to do? It's Noble Drew Ali who said in the 1920s that he wanted temples in Toronto. Noble Drew Ali said that. He said that's what he wanted because it wasn't happening yet. So studying what he said is going to save us, and realizing that, well, in order for us to do this, we can't just be doing this in the open. Like, we need an institution to do this through. And then he created the institution for us to do it through. Implement that. 2021, people are trying to say this good brother who he didn't even think about anybody else. He himself said, my mom's not getting through if she doesn't get down with this. His own mom. He can't say as a mom. He was made by her. So guarantees she sanctions everything that he said. For people to talk as if he didn't do what he said he came to do is very treasonous. And I'm going to sit back, I'm going to shut my mouth or whatever, because if I talk, people are going to be mad. People are going to be big mad. I sit back and I just watch, see what's going on. And I realize that many people, and I realize this a little while now, I realize this. Many people who claim that they're Moors, and they have nationality cards and identification and whatever like that, they don't care about Noble Drew Ali. They only care about themselves and being popular. And this is among people who, we say, these people are the master teachers and all that. How's this mindset among them? These are the master teachers. But then, remember why they didn't tell you about Noble Drew Ali? Because Drew Ali told you that the priesthood is dead. And he took away all the secrets. There ain't no secrets. They don't 500 for a class. That's not what it is. Why do you think class is free at the temple? You want to support? Don't want to pay for class. Be a dues paying member if you want to support. We don't need your handouts. Be a dues paying member if you really want to support. If you really want to support, you would see Moors that are doing good and help the Moors doing good do more good. You're not going to chase behind a master teacher because he's saying eat shit with sprinkles. And he's the master teacher, so you're going to go start, what kind of sprinkles should you get? When there's a master teacher telling you to eat shit, you're going to go with it still? So you're still going to go with it because that's the master teacher. That's what you're saying? You're saying because master teacher does something, master teacher fired on his hand and smelt it. And then now that's the thing that you're doing? Now you're going around teaching people fart on their hand and smell it is how you're going to get your birthrights. These people aren't mentioning Noble Drew Ali. If these people are avoiding him, if people are making statements like he didn't know what he was talking about, and then you find out that it's actually opposite to what they're saying, what are you going to do after that? You're going to still go to their classes and still play around with them? All right, do your thing. Just don't be coming on our stuff. Don't be coming on our stuff talking crazy as if we don't know what we're talking about. Because you want to ride master teacher's dick. Because that's what you thought this was about. Dick riding master teachers. We don't dick ride the master teachers. If they say something wrong and do something wrong, they're wrong. Doesn't mean they're not master teachers still. They're wrong if they do something wrong. They're not getting a pass because they're master teacher. You can give them a pass if you want to. I'm giving them a pass because priesthood is dead. There ain't nobody. Who's that? The master teacher what? More Avengers what? Them people ain't nobody. They're just Moors just like me. They just been studying longer than me. Worship them, chasing them down because you didn't get here or whatever. Oh my God, they got to read this for me because they got to verify this. No, they don't. That's why they don't. That's why you can't even find them online. Online what? They're wasting their time online? Unless they're retired. If they're retired, they can do what the hell they want. So don't think that we dick ride master teachers. Because we study. Because the priesthood is dead. And every man must be their own priest. Forget some priests coming and teaching you something about Moorish government or whatever. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. No way you're going to talk crazy. And not only that, this is yesterday. These people have been coming on our stuff talking crazy. Right? It's our temple where they threw the rock through the window. It's our temple where they smeared feces all over it. What do you think they're doing that for? It's our temple. That dead rabbit is found in front of the temple. What's a rabbit doing out here? You mean a dead rabbit's just out here? All these years, and all of a sudden the dead rabbit's just on our stuff? Nobody else has a dead... Anybody had a dead rabbit here before? No, you only see rabbits around here. There's a rabbit doing around here. Maybe it escaped somebody's house or something, yeah. Died with his head beat open on the step. So, you could do whatever to try to stop this. We're not going to stop this. There's Canaanland Moors right now. Their children are in school right now. For Moorish children. Not because of some grand sheik and all that stuff. Priesthood is dead. The parents wanted a Moorish school for their children, so they started a school. Who the hell else is supposed to start the school? The grand sheik's supposed to do it? The grand governor and the grand whatever is supposed to do it? No. The people are supposed to do it. Because it's their birthright. It's their children. Who's going to save them? The priest is coming to save their children? You see, they just found 215 indigenous children buried. So you keep leaving your children up to these people. Or you could find some Moors who are doing good and help them do more good so you could save yourself. Instead of dick riding master teachers. Because I've been told all these people, I'm not master teacher and grand sheik and all that. Cujo's your brother. The priesthood is dead. But if you want to play priest games, then, no problem. I got the divine minister coat, put that on. Grand governor coat, put that on. Education of truth, and put that on. If you want to play priest stuff, grand sheik, put that on. Coordinator for the whatever. Liaison for sealer, thumb printer, whatever. You want to play priest games. We already know when we chilling and we got the food and stuff like that, it's family. And family, connotative, not denotative. Damn, 6 hours ago. Damn. I see new Moors trying to put old Moors in the back for not teaching and protecting the nation as Moorish governors, Grand Sheiks / Beys. Y'all sheiks have been teaching that this is Morocco. But on this thread, y'all said the soil is America. Wow. But y'all call Tamara, Shem, and Abdullah clowns and agents for trying to put us back in Morocco mentally by teaching, because obviously the sheiks are causing confusion by saying this is American soil 1 minute and then the next says it's Morocco. FOH. If America and Morocco are interchangeable, if America and Morocco are interchangeable, why are you bringing up some BS about Morocco and America? Why are you bringing up some BS about we're saying certain people are clowns and agents for trying to... No, we never said... We said Shem is a pastor. Right, that's what we said. We said, we don't know what... It comes to etymology, Moors and Masonry, riding with Abdullah. After that, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you know Abdullah Bey. Yeah, I know. Abdullah Bey etymology, Moors and Masonry. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, but you see that he has a... Huh? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. You know Abdullah Bey and then Tashriq Bey of House of Ram. Oh, Tashriq Bey, Moors Order of Round Table? Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, but he was on House of Ram last night and then he was talking and because he's House of Ram... Pardon? What did you say? Yeah, Tashriq Bey, House of Ram. What do you mean? What do you mean? You mean Tashriq Bey, Moors Order of the Round Table? That's what you mean. No, I mean... No, you don't. No, you don't. That's what we mean by dick riding. Master teachers. Because all the master teachers told you don't follow them. So if the master teachers told you don't follow them, and then the master teacher goes and eats shit with sprinkles, are you going to go eat shit with sprinkles? Whether it's, whichever kind of shit you want to pick. Whatever sprinkles, coconut shavings, whatever your favorite stuff is. Chocolate chips. Vegan chocolate chips. Oops, you gotta have the right chocolate chips for the shit Sunday. Just because master teacher sitting there, breath smelling like shit, and you're talking about sit down there and let's do class. Moorish American Consular Court is shit with sprinkles. The sprinkles is Taj Tariq Bey. That's the sprinkles. Res Publica, whatever, is the shit. Abdullah Bey is the sprinkles. Picture with Taj Tariq Bey and Phil Valentine holding the Mahdi is the shit. Phil Valentine and Taj Tariq Bey are the sprinkles. So we're all in the little container or whatever, and we've been getting sprinkles on all the good stuff. Vegan donuts with the sprinkles or whatever like that. And then somebody has a brilliant idea, let's put some sprinkles on shit, and those are the people that you're going to say, we're going to follow them. Even though the shit sprinkle people told you don't follow them. They told you don't follow. Why would they tell you don't follow? Did they see something coming before it came? To tell you don't follow them? But no, you want to follow them. All right. So this is your position since you follow them. All right. Make your mind up. Is this America or Morocco? Because Moors did not create the name America. It is patented by the crowns England, Great Britain, France, Netherlands, papacy. And if y'all know America was a transliterated from Morocco, our motherland, who has original jurisdiction? Why in the FK do y'all sheiks call it America, the British Dominion? Moor is a Moroccan in his own land. American is a subject of the crowns. We're not the ones that started teaching about 1928 Webster's American copper-colored people. Because as Moors who study, we know that colored means fraud. We know color means fraud. And just like Moorish, how people like to relate that to British and Finnish and all this other ish stuff, when Moorish has nothing to do with anything else that has ish in it. American has nothing to do with anything else other than what Noble Drew Ali said it is. And Noble Drew Ali put Moorish in front of American and said, that's our nationality. That's what he did. So when somebody comes today and tries to tell you what he did was wrong because he said Moorish American and American is subject of the crowns, that means Noble Drew Ali put you under the crowns, they're a traitor. They're a liar, and they should be hung for the treason that they're committing against the Prophet right now. All of them making up their fake stuff when Noble Drew Ali told us that we're saved already. That he did everything it takes to save a nation, which means the nation's saved already. But just because these people are dumb niggers, you better take the stuff that it takes to save a nation and take it and save yourself. Because your own. And good point, khalifamedia.com, good point. The pale Europeans call Nippon Japan. Does Japan belong to the pale-skinned people? No. Why would that belong to them? Why would America belong to some modern Europeans when American and America isn't even English? For them to even have jurisdiction over the word America, to make claims that it's under some crown. How about use your common sense instead of listening to the people that you're dick riding? Like we said, if you're telling me about Abdullah Bey, all I know is etymology and Moors and Masonry. I don't know anything else that he's talking about. What do you mean? He said whatever. I don't care what you say he said. I'm saying I recognize him up to a line. Taj Street Bey I recognize up to a line. Because these are the names that are frequently thrown around as being involved in some dumb stuff, and then people are asking me, well, why are they part of that? If that's going on and this is going on, then why are they part of that and whatever? Why are you asking me why they're part of it? There's right there in the video. Why don't you go and ask some questions? You asking me why they're part of stuff? Why are you asking me that for? I'm not their dick rider. You are. So how about you go ask them? Don't ask me questions. Because the amount of times that we did Skypes with Brother Abdullah and no res public or whatever coming up ever, obviously that's not important, because he spoke about lots of things. Also now, because he's with some other guy who you never know, you never seen him ever before, he just popped out of nowhere, just like Shayla Morbe, and then disappeared. But he got his head of steam. And the same way they use Taj Tariq Bey, Moorish Consular Court, here comes Res Public or whatever, using Abdullah Bey, same way that they use Taj with the Consular Court, whatever, to have all the people run to that, flocking to that, because that's where it's at. And then when you check what's going on, just like with Consular Court, you see Abdullah was in the back just chilling, wasn't involved with anything. How come? This Res Publica stuff is the same stuff as Moorish Consular Court, just a different name, but it's the same concept, same idea. So how come they don't just work together and just do one thing? But then all of them are using the same address for this place that's a church right now, on paper. Have nothing to do with liberating anything. What happened to the wall with the art and all that stuff? So when we see certain things start looking funny, we draw a line. And I don't want to hear it anymore about what they're doing. When they're live, go ask them. Don't ask me, well, you did the More Avengers video, and that doesn't mean that I ride their dicks. It doesn't mean that. Info. That's it. There ain't nothing else. Not chasing behind them like a tail. As if they're somebody. They're brothers and sisters just like me. This pedestal stuff you people doing. Only Drew Ali gets the pedestal. Ain't nobody else getting no pedestal around here. For what? What they do? What they do? And even if they did something, they didn't do jack. Because look what's going on right now. Because they wanted to do their own stuff instead of doing what Drew Ali said. Causing confusion. They want to make up stuff. And have people more confused than they were, that if they would have just shut the hell up and not even support some of this stuff that's going on right now. But you know, everybody wants to be a priest and save our people and all that stuff when the priesthood is dead. Which is crazy paradox. I don't get it. I don't get it. Right? U.S. citizens, the descendants of the Bar Association, Prosperity and Kinsmen. So as the brother was trying to say before y'all attacked him, there is a distinct difference in status in the Treaty of 1787, meaning if a Moor by blood or pedigree nationality is calling himself an American political allegiance, he or she must be subject of the crowns. But a Moor by blood pedigree calling himself a Moroccan, his political nationality allegiance is in his own land and has supreme territorial jurisdiction and sovereignty, and does not need foreigners' constitution, meaning Moore wrote the instrument or influenced it to protect himself. Okay, well then, when we go to Abdullah Bey's book, Moors and Masonry, right here, right? Furthermore, I project Moors and Masonry will illuminate and uplift those Masons and Eastern Stars who are the true nobles and illustrious by birth and consanguinity, to proclaim and declare their Moorish nationality. They're Moorish. He didn't say Moor. And become politically active in their Moorish national. Come, he didn't say Moroccan. I thought supposed to be relating it to Morocco. Thought you're not supposed to say moorish, because ish is the, and when you say ish, that means proclaim and declare your Moorish nationality. Noble Drew Ali started his humanitarian work in 1913 to restore the Moorish nationality, Moorish birthrights, Moorish federal government. Any res publica in there? Any Moorish consular court in there? No, none of that. Oh, he just spoke general because that's what it is. Because it's a common fact that we are our own government. That's why we have right to self-determination. It's not to do something that some guy made up yesterday. It's to do what we've been doing. As if we need some interactions with Europeans for something. No, and this is just the preface. Right? As a result of these psychological control tactics, we the Moors have mental imprints of the Europeans' dominance, rulership, and governance in North America. He just said America there. How come he didn't correct America there and say Morocco? How come? How come he said America there? How come he didn't talk about allegiance to the crowns and whatever? Because he said America and we actually mean Morocco. How come he didn't say all that? Oh, because just the preface, right? Oh, all right, okay. Today, the European Shriners use our Moroccan Moorish. The European Shriners use the Moroccan Moorish. Drew Ali, in the early 1900s, began the political process to reclaim and restore the Moorish nationality, the Moorish birthrights. How come not Moroccan birthrights? Oh, because Drew Ali said we're descendants of Moroccans. So if we're descendants of Moroccans, obviously we're Moroccan. And to say Moorish American means you're saying Moroccan. Because Moorish means Moroccan and American means Moroccan. And because the idiots want to pretend that they're smart, they're not going to have you realize the foresight of Noble Drew Ali. Listen to what I'm saying. The foresight of Noble Drew Ali in 1913 to see that this thing was going towards everybody coming here from somewhere else and them having a hyphenated American. And if you talk about you're Moroccan in America, obviously you're a foreigner. Because Morocco is also over there in this kingdom. Just like Drew. So because they're a fraud claiming Moroccan, you're not going to claim what the fraud claims. You're going to go around your elbow to get to your thumb. Moorish American. And then everybody else after that started talking about hyphen American. Because remember, all the Brazilians and all of them, they're Moorish American already. They got mosques and stuff like that in South America. They already know what's up. They already got their nationality. They know they're descendants of Moors. We know them. And they know that they're Moreno and Morena. They're not Negro and Negra. So everybody knows what's up. And Drew Ali saw it coming. He said, hey, you know what? Instead of saying Moroccan, because we're descendants of Moroccans born in America, that means we're Moroccans born in America, which would mean that we're Moroccan. Noble Drew Ali set the stage for you to have the superior jurisdiction because you were the first hyphen Americans. Remember, everybody else coming over here was a colonist. They were claiming their nation. They were coming over here as colonists. It wasn't until Drew Ali that people started talking about their whatever American. And you were the standard set. You were the nation. You were the ones that would have been governing, and then everybody would be naturalizing through you, which is what they were already doing in the 1920s, when the literature talks about a Turk, a Chinese, a Japanese, whatever, joined the Moorish Science Temple. A Moor walking down the street, Arab comes out of a store, pulls him in the store, and asks the Moor, this is the Arab, the pale Arab guy, pull the Moor off the street, bring him to the store, and points at Noble Drew Ali and asks the brother, you know who this man is? And the Moor said, yeah, that's my prophet. Prophet looked at him, Islam Moor, Islam prophet, and went about his business. Why do you think he said that your brothers from the east are going to come save you? Because everybody was in the pocket of the prophet. Because they didn't want to come over here and be the next nigger. And the only way that they could do that is they show allegiance to the Moors. Which is why, again, these people immediately jumped on some Japan, whatever, with Muhammad Ali. Because they're going on the FBI papers that, hey, anybody who's Ali, they're a Moor. And we can't have that unity happen. We can't have the uniting of Asia in America. But what happened? They united Asia in America and left us out of it. Because of these same people right here who people are commenting on behalf of them. That they're going to create something to save the Moors when they should just do a Noble Drew Ali lay down. And they don't want to do that. Because if they do that, then that means they're not going to be famous. Which they will be famous, but not the famous that they want. Y'all speak of the Supremacy Clause, which is the foreigner's contract, but we were signing treaties 300 years before that contract was even thought of, and did not need Article 6 to enforce our rights. So why use it now? Who's using Article 6 to enforce our rights? This is our birthright here. As Aboriginal and Indigenous people, we have a right to exercise our national standards. It's not violating anybody else. You should be good. Shouldn't have any issues with any of these people. It's when you're trying to do stuff you shouldn't be doing why you get in trouble with them. Because you're trying to pull some stuff off on them. And try to use your moorish whatever to hide behind it. No, it's not going to work. Because that's not how this works. But if you listen to some trader tell you that it doesn't matter, forget what Noble Drew Ali brought. He didn't know what he was doing or whatever like that. We know how it's supposed to be. We're Moroccans. We're not Moorish Americans. Please, the hell out of my face. Treasonous bastards. Noble Drew Ali didn't finish doing. Noble Drew Ali finished doing what he was doing. Now you're coming to do something? Dred Scott case states people of African Moorish descent cannot seek protection under their laws, meaning they created Article 6 to acknowledge the previous obligations to the crowns who allowed them to operate industry through the colony names already established before the U.S. See Treaty of Paris 1763 and 1783. Remove all the emotion and do research. Grand Sheiks are in office to make law and enforce the law. What law has your Grand Sheiks passed to protect your unarmed brothers and sisters from being violated like refugees in their own land? What do you mean? What do you mean? What are we doing to stop them from getting murdered? What do you mean? What are we doing? Same thing that we've been doing from day one. Putting them on game about their Moorish nationality and birthright so they can get out of the status Negro, black, colored, so they don't get murdered in the street all the time. Unarmed brothers and sisters being violated. They're getting violated because they don't have a nationality. That's why they're getting violated. And the law that all Grand Sheiks pass in temples that are legitimate is take this information and go redeem your people. Don't sit back waiting for Grand Sheik to do something. You better get active and don't be passive. You have supreme authority. You don't need some Grand Sheik to sign off on something. This is your birthright. I know none, but I'll give y'all an opportunity to put those laws in the chat along with when they were voted on and where I can verify those laws were passed by the sheiks. Bet you will not have the balls to come on the body politic formation class talking this nonsense to the well-seasoned Moors. Y'all say are agents. Much respect to the newbie for coming on the live. Attempt to clean up what was taught by sheiks and sheikesses. Islam, and then they have Islam on the end. As if they're with that. They're not with that. They're not with that. They would cause confusion because we already know people who went to the Bali politics formation class, whatever, that they have degrees, and they said the stuff you're teaching is below my degrees that I got from the European. You're not telling me anything that I don't know. And like we say, let them talk, because he let you know in the end. Much respect to the newbie. Newbies don't get props for talking. Newbies are supposed to shut the hell up, because you cause confusion when you talk. Newbies are not supposed to be talking. If you don't have 5 years in this, you really should STFU and go study. Because you're going to say something that is going to cause confusion. Guaranteed. Unless you're being trained to go out and talk by somebody who is seasoned, you shouldn't be talking. Right? Type this long thing, and then we just wanted to play some of this again so people could see the disrespect for themselves.
Social justice was not taught. As a matter of fact, the role of the Grand Sheik was error the way Noble Drew did it. Because in the temple, they didn't have a sheik. They had priests. They had elders. Which are the elders? Keep us of philosophy, tradition, and wisdom. You had the seer in the temple, because you call ecclesiastic now. You say that Noble Drew Ali is the way to doing it. Then if that's the case, then why people go in jail, why more concentration camps are put up, why the people eat poison food, poison water legally by a government body, why they're more brainwashed, why there's no structure, there's nobody forcing the treaties, there's nobody having a diplomatic relationship.
Isn't that the same thing that the commenter said? The same thing the commenter said? Y'all Grand Sheiks, where's the laws that y'all Grand Sheiks passed to protect your unarmed brothers and sisters from being violated like refugees in their own land? Same thing he just said. Same thing he just said. If Noble Drew Ali brought what it was to save the nation and whatever, then why is it that people getting murdered in the street? Why is it there no diplomatic relations between the Moors and the Europeans? Right? We'll call it how it is. All I know up there is Abdullah Bey. And all I know about him is Moors and Masonry and etymology. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. Other guy, I don't know him. Been saying we don't know him. We know that people had churches and they were pastors. And now they got Bey and they're supposed to have people think that they're not a pastor still. Because they got L and Bey, they're not a pastor still. They're not a preacher man. Do whatever you're doing. Don't talk crazy about Noble Drew Ali didn't do something. Don't even dare talk crazy about Noble Drew Ali to try to justify your fraud that you're doing. And then you're pulling in the master teachers into it. You're pulling the master teachers into it. Or paying them off, or whatever it is that you're doing with the master teachers, whatever you're doing to get them in on with you in your BS to cause confusion. If I want to hear Abdullah Bey talk, it's going to be about etymology and it's going to be about Moors and Masonry. I don't want to hear him talk about anything else. I don't want to hear him talk about anything else. Because that's what resonates with me. All this other stuff, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about. All this, because he just said in the thing, this right. This is why we say we ride with the Moors and Masonry, right? That's why we say we ride with the Moors and Masonry. Noble Drew Ali started his humanitarian work in 1913 to restore the Moorish nationality, Moorish birthright, inherited land, Moorish territorial sovereignty, Moorish federal government and imperial divan to the defeated, conquered, subjugated, and denationalized Moors, who are now classified as United States Census Bureau as Black, Negro, Colored, African American, as Black in the United States Race and Ethics Standard for Federal Statistics and Administrative Reportive Directive Statistical Policy 15. It just says right there, Noble Drew Ali restored the Moorish federal government. So if Noble Drew Ali restored the Moorish federal government by us having grand sheiks and grand governors and all that stuff, and having a constitution, and having nationality cards, and having conventions and parades, do you think that this is not nationhood happening? But here comes Pastor Man to try to convince you that he brought something and Noble Drew Ali didn't bring it. That's supreme fraud. And where's your fez? Where's your turban? Where's your kufi? Where's your something? Why are you up there looking like Pastor Man? Why does he always look like Pastor Man? Why? How come you not wear the fez? The Masons told you don't wear it or something? What happened? How come you don't wear your fez?
See, I'm a jurist. You can't speak that. See, when that happens, you are misrepresenting Noble Drew Ali, because that makes you a fraud. See, you are trying to say what Noble Drew Ali is, and you weren't even born then. So you are committing a fraud on the people, because you're taking him and you are complicating his function, his status, his office status. I'm not going to let you get into Noble Drew Ali. See, I'm going to tell the truth about Noble Drew Ali and cut you with a razor like a knife, because I love you. Tell you the truth about what's written in history. Go back and look. Not what somebody stabbed us now and tell me I can face it. Noble Drew Ali went to the Pan Am Union. Prove it. I'm a jurist. I go back 18th century. When you only got invited to a convention because you're the head of a state or a nation.
So let's just say Noble Drew Ali didn't get invited to some Pan-American conference. Let's just say he didn't. That means what he said doesn't apply? So that means everything that Noble Drew Ali said doesn't apply because we went and researched the Pan-American Conference, because that's what we did too. We went and researched the Pan-American Conference as well. And what you realize is that every Pan-American Conference has information on it except that one. I don't know. I can't say. Because like he's saying, I wasn't there. But when I look around and I see all these different Asians having their own community, and they don't have a consular court, they don't have a res republica or whatever, what they do? They got together based on their nationality. That's it. Think about it. Where's the Asians' consular court? Oh, that's their embassy. And why do they have that? Because they're a foreigner. And the only individual to tell you that you're here, and not only are you from here, but I already did everything that it takes to save a nation. All you have to do is just proclaim your nationality and save yourself. They want to make it advanced, so you have to go to their class and all that stuff. This stuff is not advanced. It's real simple. But there's the countdown. So like we said, honors to all the Moors, honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We're not riding with no res republic whatever, but we're riding with Abdullah Bey, Moors and Masonry and etymology. We don't know who Shem is. Honors to all the mothers. Islam.